Welcome back, wrestling WWE fans, to a channel that lays bare the soul of this industry. Tonight, we're grappling with a loss so profound it's left the WWE Universe in stunned silence. Another member of the Anoa'i family, a WWE Hall of Famer, has passed, and Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, is left to bury yet another piece of his legacy. This isn't just a headline, it's a dagger to the heart, and you won't want to turn away from this raw, shattering story. The Anoa'i dynasty is wrestling royalty, a family woven into the fabric of WWE history. From Yokozuna to the Usos, their blood runs through the ring, their pride a beacon of strength. But that pride comes with a cost, and Roman Reigns, the man who's carried the family's banner as the head of the table, now faces a grief that threatens to break him. The loss of a Hall of Famer, his mentor, his kin, has left a void no championship can fill. It was a quiet morning when the news broke, not in an arena but through hushed phone calls and tearful texts. The Hall of Famer, a titan of the industry whose name echoed through decades, was gone. The cause was sudden, a health crisis that struck without warning, a heart attack, some whispered, though details were scarce. The WWE Universe, still reeling from past losses, felt the ground shift beneath them. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Alright, we're halfway through, and things are about to take a serious turn. If you thought you knew where this was going, think again, this is where the real drama unfolds. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. Roman Reigns, always the stoic leader, was seen backstage, his eyes red, his shoulders slumped. The man who'd stared down Brock Lesnar and John Cena without flinching was now a son, a nephew, a cousin, mourning in the shadows. The locker room, usually buzzing with energy, fell silent, superstars bowing their heads as if paying respects to a fallen king. Grief has a way of exposing truths. The Anoa'i family, for all its unity, has faced its share of fractures. Roman's rise to power as the tribal chief wasn't without resistance. Some in the family saw his dominance as a betrayal of their shared legacy, a grab for glory that left others in the shadows. Whispers of resentment lingered, unspoken but ever present. The Hall of Famer's death brought those tensions to the surface. Backstage, the dynamics were raw, almost suffocating. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay, stood by Roman, their loyalty unwavering, but others in the extended family questioned his leadership. Had he pushed too hard, demanded too much? The weight of being the tribal chief was heavier than ever. The health crisis that claimed this legend wasn't entirely unexpected. The Anoa'i family has battled its share of demons, heart issues, the toll of years in the ring, the relentless grind of the road. This Hall of Famer, a man who'd headlined WrestleManias, had been quietly fighting his own battles, his body worn from decades of sacrifice. Roman knew, but he hadn't spoken of it, not until it was too late. Scandal followed, as it always does. Dirt sheets pounced, speculating about the family's inner workings. Some claimed Roman had neglected his elder, too focused on his own empire to notice the warning signs. Others whispered of a rift, a falling out that left the Hall of Famer isolated in his final days. The truth, as always, was messier, buried in years of unspoken pain. Family breakdowns are nothing new to the Anoa'is. The Bloodline, Roman's creation, was built on loyalty, but loyalty is fragile. Jey Uso's rebellion in 2020, his brief departure from the fold, was a crack in the foundation. This loss widened that crack, forcing Roman to confront the cost of his ambition. Was the throne worth the family he'd lost along the way? The locker room felt the ripple effects. Superstars like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who'd clashed with the Bloodline, offered quiet condolences, their rivalries forgotten. Others, less forgiving, saw an opportunity, whispers of challengers circling, sensing weakness in Roman's grief. The backstage dynamics were a chessboard, and Roman was no longer the untouchable king. Fans on X poured out their hearts, flooding timelines with tributes to the Hall of Famer. Clips of his greatest matches, against Shawn Michaels, against The Undertaker, trended alongside messages of love. But there were darker threads, too, accusing Roman of failing his family, of letting pride blind him to their needs. The WWE Universe was grieving, but it was also judging. Roman's silence in the days that followed was deafening. The tribal chief, known for his commanding promos, had no words. Those close to him said he was haunted, replaying moments with his fallen kin, late-night talks, lessons in the ring, promises to carry the family forward. Now, those promises felt like chains. The emotional wreckage was palpable. Roman, who'd battled leukemia and returned stronger, now faced a different kind of fight. Grief doesn't care about titles or undefeated streaks. It strips you bare, and Roman was no exception. Friends described him staring at old family photos, his fingers tracing the faces of those he'd lost. Death is no stranger to wrestling. The Inoue family has buried too many: Yokozuna, Umaga, Rosie. Each loss carved a piece from their legacy, but this one felt different. This Hall of Famer wasn't just a wrestler, he was a patriarch, a guiding light. His absence left Roman questioning not just his role, but his very identity. Backstage, the whispers grew darker. Some suggested the Hall of Famer's health had been neglected, that Roman's focus on the bloodline had blinded him to his family's needs. Others hinted at a betrayal, not violent, but emotional, a failure to honor the elder's wisdom in his final years. The truth, if it exists, lies buried in private moments only Roman knows. The bloodline itself teetered. Jimmy and Jay, loyal to their cousin, tried to hold the group together, but Solo Sikoa's silence spoke volumes. Was he questioning Roman's leadership? The faction, once an unbreakable unit, now felt like a house of cards, each member grappling with their own grief and doubts. WWE management faced a crisis. The show must go on, but how do you script a story when the heart of it is broken? Roman's matches carried a new weight, his eyes distant even as he pinned opponents. Announcers spoke carefully, avoiding the raw truth of the family's loss. An investigation into the Hall of Famer's death was mentioned, but details were scarce, fueling speculation. The fans, the lifeblood of WWE, became a chorus of mourning. They filled arenas with signs honoring the Hall of Famer, chanting his name in defiance of death. But they also watched Roman closely, searching for cracks in the tribal chief's armor. Your tweets, your comments, they kept this story alive, demanding answers, offering love, and holding the Inoues accountable. Roman's private moments were the hardest to witness. Those who saw him away from the cameras described a man unraveling, clutching a worn photo of his family in happier times. He spoke of legacy, of wanting to make his kin proud, but the words caught in his throat. The tribal chief was human, after all, and humans break. The scandal of neglect grew louder. Dirt sheets claimed Roman had ignored warnings about his elder's health, too consumed by his feud with Cody Rhodes to notice. Others said the Hall of Famer had tried to counsel Roman, urging him to soften his grip on the bloodline, only to be dismissed. The accusations stung, each one a reminder of the family's unraveling. The Inoue legacy, once a pillar of strength, now felt fragile. Roman had built the bloodline to honor his family, but at what cost? The loss of this Hall of Famer wasn't just a personal tragedy, it was a warning. Power, without love, leaves only ashes. Roman, now burying another piece of his past, faced a reckoning. The wrestling world paused to reflect. Superstars began speaking out, not just about the Hall of Famer, but about the toll of this industry. The road, the pressure, the sacrifices, they wear down even the strongest. Roman's grief became a mirror, forcing everyone to confront their own losses, their own families left behind. As Roman prepared to lay his kin to rest, he stood alone, the weight of the Inoue name on his shoulders. The funeral was private, but stories leaked. A single Samoan lay placed on the casket, Roman's voice breaking as he spoke of love and regret. The tribal chief, for one moment, was just a man, grieving a father figure he'd never replace. This loss is a wound that will linger. The Inoue dynasty, built on blood and loyalty, has been tested before, but never like this. Roman Reigns, the man who demanded acknowledgement, now seeks something else, forgiveness, perhaps, or a way to carry on. The Hall of Famer's legacy lives in every Samoan drop, every roar of the crowd, but it's Roman who must decide what comes next. Wrestling WWE fans, let's hold tight to the lessons of this tragedy. Love fiercely, even when it's hard. Honor those who came before, because their legacy is your strength. And never let pride blind you to the ones who matter most. Roman Reigns, in his grief, reminds us that family is the true championship, and loss is the price we pay for love. Until next time, keep the faith, and keep their memory alive. And there you have it, folks. The drama, the betrayal, and the shocking twists, just like the greatest moments in WWE history. But don't blink, because the action is far from over. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We want to know your take on this WWE rollercoaster. Who do you think will rise above it all? Who's going to take down the giants in the ring, and who's going to be left in the dust? Until next time, keep your fists up, your eyes wide open, and remember, in the world of WWE, anything can happen. Stay tuned for more insider scoops, crazy predictions, and all the shocking drama you crave. As always, this is Wrestling WWE signing off, where the action never stops, and the stories keep coming.